Hey there, it's Jonathan from PlayGuitar.com. Today we're going to be talking about a picking pattern that I like to call the Ping Pong Pattern. And the reason for that is because there's a lot of bouncing back and forth in it. Okay, so before we start any picking pattern, it's really important to identify where our root notes are for our chords. So the chord progression we're going to use is going to be A minor, C, G, and then a form of D that we'll talk about in just a moment. But for starters, the root notes, okay, A minor, the root note is here on the 5th string. C major, the root note is on the 5th string again, okay? And then G major, the root note's on the 6th string. Now let's talk about that D that I mentioned. We're going to start by making a C major shape, okay? Just a normal C. Then we're going to move everything up 1, 2 frets, okay? Your root note's at the 5th string, so ignore the 6th string here, okay? So that gives us a D, an F sharp, a G, which doesn't belong in the chord normally, another D, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add our pinky finger on the 1st fret, 5th fret, 1st string. Let me get that straight for you. Okay? That's our chord. Now, because we've got D, F sharp, and A, that's a D major, but we're adding in a G, which in this case is, it's the 4 or the 11, we would say, okay? I love that chord. Use it all the time. Okay, so those are the chords we're working with. Let's get into the picking pattern. So we're always going to start with the root note, okay? That's going to be a downstroke. And then we're going to do another downstroke on the 3rd string. No matter what the pattern, no matter what the chord is we're working with, we're always going to go root note and then 3rd string, okay? So the root note, the string can change, you know, depending on the 5th string or the 4th string or the 6th string, depending on the chord that you're working with at the time. The A minor, the root note is on the 5th string, okay? So 5th and then 3rd. And at this point, we're going to start that ping pong thing, right? So we go down, down, up on the 2nd string, down on the 3rd, up on the 1st, down on the 3rd, back up on the 2nd, okay? And then another down on the 3rd string. Okay, so that's our pattern. Root note, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3. And notice that we're always picking from the outside on those 3 strings, right? You're picking, if this is the 3rd string, you're picking this direction, and if this is the 1st string, you're picking that direction. We're not picking an upstroke on the 3rd because that would send our hand away from the direction we want to be traveling. And same thing with the 1st string, right? We're not picking down because that would send my hand further in the direction away from where we want to be going, right? Instead, I think of it as kind of straddling that 2nd string, and that it keeps everything tight and efficient. So let's carry on with our progression. We've got A minor, and then C major, G major, and then that D. Now at this point, if you wanted to change up the picking pattern just a little bit, you could do that. Because if you didn't want to emphasize that G, which is the 4, and doesn't really belong in the G major chord per se, you could instead choose to emphasize the F sharp, which is the 3rd, which does belong in the normal D major chord, right? So in that case, you would play that pattern like this. You'd go root note, and then 4th string, and then 2nd, then 4, then 1, then 4, then 2, then 4 again, right? And of course, if you wanted to just keep the picking pattern intact and play the G, feel free, you can do that. So let's put the whole thing together, play it through slowly. So which version of that chord did you like better? The one in the first time through when I played the F sharp over top of the D, or in the second time through where I played the G? Let me know in the comments below. Now, when you're going through these picking patterns, it's really important that if you need to, feel free to look down at your guitar, look at your hand, whichever hand that you need to, because you're feeding information to your hand so that it can be accurate, okay? You're going to help develop muscle memory in your hand, and as that muscle memory grows, it's going to need to rely on your eyes less and less. So in time, you will be able to put your attention elsewhere, but don't feel bad about looking down when you need to in the beginning. Okay, now if you want to play through these examples at different tempos, like I got a much slower, then visit PlayGuitar.com/picking, and you can go through these, and I've got 6 different tempos that you can play through with the tab and all that stuff. It's a really great learning tool. Also, be sure to check out the Rhythm Player's Guide to Picking, which is my new course on different picking patterns and styles and techniques. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right? Well, have a great day. We'll see you again in the next lesson.